Welcome back to a new one, and on this occasion is the SP-404 Mark II DJ mode. If you like all of this, please like and subscribe. This channel is supported by viewers only, so if you want to buy me a coffee to say thanks and help the channel keep going on, you can. You have links in the description for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon. Alright, so let's begin with the more basic stuff. So right here, I am in sample mode. I'm gonna go to the bank J, and I have 3 different samples, full tracks that I'm gonna be using. Maybe you need to do the same, just load 3 different tracks. To go to the DJ mode, you need to press the DI and the EJ, both at the same. You notice that right here at the bottom it says DJ mode. You press both at the same time and you're gonna get this screen. You might only get 1 channel instead of two channels. And right here is where you need to select the samples you want to work with. If you go to the value and just push it, it will say channel 1 select, then channel 2 select. And then we begin to talk about the edit. In this case, I only care about the channel select. If I want to select the sample for the channel number 1, I just need to press right here and then choose whatever sample you want to work with. You can press and hold and audition it, and right here will let you know, the name of the name of the pad. In this case, is J1. And the name of the track, and so on and so on. So if you want to load this, you just press enter. I'm going to do the same thing for the channel number 2. I'm going to select a different track. I'm going to select this one, and then I'm going to go to enter. Alright, so let's go through the easy parts first. The pads will let you know what you can control. And if you notice, it's divided on 2 different sides. And the pads for the right for the channel 2 and the channel 1 are just completely the same. And right here on top of each pad, you can read what you can do, right? So the number 13 for the channel 1 is going to be the playback, just play and pause. And then for the channel 2 is going to be the 15. Then at the top, the control number 2 and then the number 3, actually it's the 1 and the 2, will let you hear what is going on the channel 1 and the channel 2. If I go to the channel 1, this is it. And if I want to go and just audition the channel 2, this is what's going on in the channel 2. Alright, so again, this is just how it works. Now, I'm playing both tracks at the same time. Now, if you want to restart the track, this is going to be the restart. If I press it, it's going to go back to the beginning. And I know all of this is just, a little bit obvious, but we need to go through all the different options because this video is a deep dive. So at the top of the screen, right here on the screen, you can see a lot of information of what you are playing back. At the top, you get the tempo. Secondly, it's going to be the pitch offset and then the time remaining. So if I play the track and restart it, it lasts almost 2 minutes. These are free tracks that you get from YouTube. And it's gonna play, let you know how much time you have remaining until, of course, the track ends. Then you have the 1, 2, 5, and 6, and 3, 4, 7, and 8. They do the same. First, it's gonna be the bend. So if I press it, just keep pressing, it's gonna speed it up. And I guess, we already know all of this, but I'm just showing you. And as soon as you release it, it's gonna go back to the original tempo. Same if I do something like that, it's gonna slow down. Alright. Release it, it goes back. Now then you have the BPM and the BPM minus. You can speed up the BPM, go faster, and notice how the values change right here. Or you can slow it down. You can even press and hold, and it's just gonna do it for you. Now, it depends on what you want to do. Sometimes you want to go a little bit faster than this. So you have different controls. You have the pitch speed, which is going to change the way you work with the BPM. If I press it, notice that it's changing the values right here. So let me just go to the first one. This one is going to be integers. So if I go up, it's going to go really fast. But if I put it again, it's going to be 2 decimals. And again, it's going to be much slower. And then the next one is going to be just one. And again, you're going to go much faster. Alright, so, this is how it works. I'm going to go back maybe to original tempo. Let's say that you want to go back and you don't want to just, press and hold. Well, what you can do delete, just press delete, hold it, and just press both at the same time, and it will go back to the original tempo. Now I'm going to play the track again. Now, what you can do, you can mute the track. Now, it's a little bit weird. You need to do shift, then reverse, and then play it and pause, and it will mute it. It's not pausing. Right now I'm pausing. I'm not muting. I'm playing the track. I'm going to do shift, reverse, and then play this one, and notice the fader is blinking. So this means that the track is muted. Still, maybe you can see the numbers. Right here it's just, it's still playing back, but of course it's muted. If you want to unmute it, you just press the play, and it's just going to pause it, but that's not going to work. I'm going to do shift, reverse, and then unmute it. Alright, so, you can do it if you want to. I'm going to be playing both tracks. You don't see it because I want you to focus on this part of the screen. I'm going to play the number 1. I'm going to be playing the number 2 right from the beginning. And if I show you, we have the number 1, and then the number 2 is also playing at the back. Cool. Alright, so what I want to show you is that you have different profiles. You need to go to the Resample, just press it, and you go to the push value. Notice that you get fast cut, curve, square, cubic, and then you toggle through the same options. So this means that when you handle the faders and you do the crossfading, well, it can be really aggressive, or it can be, maybe I'm gonna go to fast cut. This one is the more aggressive one. When you do something like this, notice it's super aggressive already. But if I change the profile and go to something softer like cubic, well, this one is gonna be super soft. Notice it really changes. Alright, so right here, you just need to choose the one that is right for you. Alright, so the control number 3 is going to be by default the Q and the mix control. Right now it's very small on the screen. I'm going to show you and zoom on this part in a minute. But right here you can see something that says C and something that says M. So it's going to be Q and then mix. And at the bottom, you can see that you have your 14, which is the Q for the channel number 1, and the 16 is going to be the Q for the channel number 2. Now, when you cue something on whatever channel, either channel, you're going to be hearing what's going on, what you're playing back only on your headphones. So right now, this is going out to, the main speakers, let's say, and right here, I have connected, you have the phones. So you can be hearing whatever it is that you are going to be cueing in on your headphones first. And this is going to be the control that will decide what you listen on your headphones. If it's going to be the master, what comes out at the end, or what you're cueing in all the way in on your other channel. Since I am recording a video, this is something that you need to do at home. You need to use your headphones. And I'm routing these headphones back to the interface, to my interface, and I'm going through the DAW, and I can show you what's going on the mix and on the Q channel. Alright, so let me show you how this works. I'm going to be all the way up on the channel number 1, all the way down on the channel number 2. I'm going to be playing this one, and I'm going to go back to the beginning. So let's say, of course, that you want to hear the channel number 2 on your headphones first, so you can just fine-tune it. So you're going to be playing back, and you're going to send it to your Q mix. Sorry, so both tracks are playing. The number 2 is on the green one. Of course, I cannot show you. The screen is just zoomed right here. But right now, it's queuing. So right here is all the way to the M. So what you're hearing on your headphones is going to be whatever that comes out and whatever the audience is listening. If I choose to go to the other side, you're going to start getting, you can hear a blend. And this is what's going on the headphones. I'm showing you the mix and the Q. You can see the channels. Now, if I go all the way to the C, right here on the DAW, you can see what's going on the Q, and you can see what's going on in the mix. This is what the audience is listening. If I go down in the volume, the Q is just playing back the channel number 2. So this is your headphones. And right here, you can do your magic, just fine-tune everything so, you have it ready to cue it in. And the other one, if I go down on the Q, which is again your headphones, it's going to still be playing whatever it is that you're playing on the master. Now once you're done, you're going to need to maybe go all the way back to the M, which is again the mix, and on your headphones you're just listening whatever comes out from the main output. Alright, so if you want to remove the channel from the Q, you just need to press it again. I'm going to be playing both again. I'm going to just tap it again and just remove it. Now if I go to my DAW and I go all the way to the Q and I just solo whatever is going out on the Q, well, it's nothing because of course nothing is on the Q. If I select the channel number 1, it's going to be number 1. If I select the number 2, it's going to be the number 2. Now, hopefully you understood all this. I know it's a little bit confusing because, I'm using 2 sources mainly. But yeah, this is just pretty much how it works. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be playing the A and then the B right from the start. Now then you have your sync. You can see the sync right here. Now what you can do right here, you can sync whatever is not maybe going out through the main mix. So the channel number 1 is the one that is going out. So I'm going to be going to the channel number 2, which is also playing, but it's not going out. And I'm going to be tapping the sync. Notice what happens. At the top it says S and then it says M. So I guess this means sync, or actually it means slave and then master. So it means that this one, the bus number 2, channel number 2, is trying to sync to the master one, which is the one that it's playing. And this is because I just pressed the sync of the channel that it's not playing. If I do the same thing for the other one, notice that now it changes. The one that it's playing is the slave and the one that it's not playing is the master. So it depends on, of course, what you want to do. If I choose this one, the channel number 2, the one that is not playing, or going out, actually, we can, change the BPM, and notice it will affect both channels. Alright, so you, of course, need to be careful with this. And to go back to the default tempo, I'm going to shift and plus and minus. And whenever you want to remove it, remove the sync, you just tap it, and it will go off right here at the top, just telling you that the sync is completely off. Okay, so right now we are using the Q mix, right? This control is Q and then mix, and this is the default way. I'm gonna restart the tracks and play them right from the beginning. I'm playing both channels, as you can hear, right? So if you go to start and end, you have a different way of using this. It's called X fade, and of course it's gonna be crossfading. Right now, if I go all the way on this control, all the way to the 1, it's gonna be the 1. And if I go all the way to the 2, notice that we cannot hear anything. And it's because this control needs to be, at least up or at some position. So I'm gonna be going to the 1. Now we get the 1. And if I go to the 2, we are crossfading to the 2. It's just a different way of doing this. Now, you need to remember that the curves that we did with the resample and the value will affect the X fade as well. Now, one thing that you need to remember is that when you're working with the X fade and you want to get out and go back to the Q mix, the X fade will affect what you do on the Q mix. So whenever you get out right here, make sure that you leave it maybe at center or maybe whenever you want before you go back to Q mix. Alright, so you have other features like the roll. I'm going to be playing the track number 1. It doesn't matter if I'm playing the 2. Right now, I'm just going to be using the number 1. Okay, so if I go to roll, I just hold it and just tap it, and I'm gonna release it. I want you to take a look right here. Notice it says 1M. And the loop, the sample is just looping over and over and over again. Now, when I release it, nothing happens because I'm still rolling. Right? So what you can do right here, if I do shift and just change the roll, is gonna change the size. So if I want to do something shorter, I'm going to be going to roll. I'm going to be tapping this, and notice that it's going to be much shorter. Right? So it's very, easy to hear. It's a little bit annoying. So if you want to change it again, you can go to half, maybe 1. And I'm going to be doing roll, just tap the play again, and it's going back to 1. Now this is one way of doing this. You have an easier way. If I hold the roll, the 1, 2, 3, and 4, they go white. And this is because you can select it and you can see a representation right there on the screen and just change it live. Maybe I'm going to go to 2. It's going to be 2 measures, of course. And then it's going to be 1, and right here you can't choose. So let's say I'm stuck right here. I'm going to release it. So right now the track is on this mode. Now how can you do to get out of this mode? You just need to press play. Whenever you press play, it will continue the playback. Alright, so you can play back in reverse. I'm gonna play it back, and maybe I'm gonna start from the beginning. And right here, what you need to do is just, press the reverse. And this is right now. It's just, going back in reverse. I need to restart it. Yeah. Now, I want you to notice that there is a tiny little arrow right here that is pointing into the channel number 1. Well, this one will decide which channel gets reversed. So I'm going to be, playing this one. Just going to remove the reverse. Just maybe start from the beginning. But I want to reverse the one that it's not, going out and I'm gonna be, playing that track. And what I want to do, I'm going to want to press the BPM sync. And now, notice that the arrow is just going to change. Now it's going to be on the channel number 2. So if I do reverse, it's going to be the channel number 2. So if I take a listen, this one is in reverse. So yeah, if you want to reverse the current track, you can do it if you want. If you want to reverse the one that it's the channel that it's about to cue in, you can do so. To remove the reverse, you just press reverse and it will just remove it. Alright, so one more thing before we move on to the next big topic. If I'm just playing this track, what you can do, you can go to hold. Now whenever you go hold, it will take you back to pretty much sample mode. And right here what you can do, you can play back samples that you have. Maybe it's just a little bit loud, I'm going to be going down so you can hear it. If I play this, notice that I'm playing back samples that you have on different banks. And this is, maybe because maybe you have some effects, you have something that you want to use, and you can go to hold, find that sample and just, play it back in real time. And if you want to get out of the hold, you just need to press it and it will just go back. Alright, so now I want to talk about the buses. You have something that says bus 1 and something that says bus 2. Maybe you don't see it on the screen, but the channel number 1 says bus 1, and then the channel number 2 says bus 1 as well. Now, I already covered this on a different video. I mean, how buses work, so maybe you can check my channel. So what I can do, I can maybe play back the channel number 1. I'm going to keep the, the other one down. And what I want to do, I want to maybe do some filtering. And this is going to be applied to either bus 1 or bus 2. You get 2 buses. How can you know where you are? Now, if it's blinking, it means that you're standing on the 2. And if it's not blinking, it's the 1. Now, right here, it says that the bus number 1 has a filter and a drive. So whatever it is that you are, sending back, if it says right here at the bottom, bus number 1 is whatever effect that you're just trying to use. And of course, you can do whatever other effects, as long as in this case you stay on the bus number 1, because the channel is just going through the bus number 1. Now, what if you want to use the bus number 1 and the bus number 2? So what you need to do in order to change the buses, you need to press and hold the remain. And right there at the bottom on the cue, of course you don't see it, it's going to be the 14th for the channel number 1 and again the 16th for the channel number 2. If I hold the remain, I'm going to be pressing the 14, which is the bus number 1 or in the channel number 1. If I press it, you can change it to bus number 2 or you can change it to dry. Dry means it goes out, you are not going through the bus. So in this case, I'm going to be sending the one to the bus number 1, and maybe on your bus number 1, you have a filter and a drive. So if I play something, of course, it's going to go through that effect because that's what we are using on the bus number 1. Now, if I go to the bus number 2, I'm going to be doing, I don't know, just maybe a delay. Why not? A delay. That is going on the bus number 2. So what I can do, I can go again to remain and just maybe send this one to the bus number 2. And now it's going to be a delay. Or I can go to dry and just do nothing. Now, how you send to a bus, it's completely up to you, but you need to set this up beforehand, because if you want to go to the EFX settings and change it, the 16 is the EFX settings, you do it by holding shift and going to the 16, but in this case, it doesn't work. You will need to get out of the DJ mode. I'm gonna just exit and say OK, and now if I do shift and I go to 16, it's gonna show you the settings. And I already covered this on the deep dive of this device. You maybe can go there, just learn a little bit more what's happening with the bus number 2, bus number 4. You have the links at the description. But right here, again, you need to decide what you want to do. Now, if you have your first channel and you send it to whatever, this is default, because by default, it's going to be the type A. From factory, the bus number 1 is going to feed to the bus number 2. This means that if you are using bus 1 and 2 and you add something to the 1, it's going to feed back or just, go through the bus number 2. So depending on what you want to do, this maybe is what you want. But maybe if you want to send to different channels, right? Maybe the channel number 1 to bus 1 and the channel number 2 to bus 2, for example, you can do so by just tapping the enter. You just change it to the type B, which means that the bus number 1 and 2 are parallel. They are not in chain. And all of this is just, completely up to you. Now, on top of this, right here, you have your favorites, which is going to be, some effects that are going to be applied to the bus number 3 and 4. But still, once you select what you want to do with the buses, in my case, it's going to be 1 and 2 in parallel. You just need to do exit and just go back to the DJ mode. And of course, you don't need to load it again. I'm going to be playing both tracks. I'm playing both. Now, I'm going to be going to remain, go to queue, and I'm going to send bus 1 to the 1, and I'm going to go to remain, and the bus 2 is going to go on the channel number 2 is going to go to the bus 2. And I know that on the bus number 1, I have a filter and a drive, and on the bus 2, I have a delay. So now, if I go down on this one and go up on the 2, this one is the one going to the delay, and this one is the one going to the filter and the drive. Again, all of this is just completely up to you. Now, a mark, if you have an effects, is going to show you the EFX screen. So you can toggle between the main screen and the EFX. For example, if I do bus, it's going to take a little while to get out, right? So you can just go to mark and you're going to get out of there, faster. Now, in this case, I don't want this. I'm going to be removing the effects right here, and I'm just going to go back to, the beginning. Okay, so we covered pretty much everything. You can play back patterns while you're playing back the track. I'm going to be playing the track number 1, the channel number 1. I'm going to keep it all the way down so we can hear the pattern. So what you need to do, you need to go to pattern select. I'm going to go to pattern select. Maybe I'm going to go to the bank number, I don't know, A2, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then you just need to do pattern select again. And now I'm going to go up and nothing happens. And it's because you have the controls right here for the pattern. I need to play it back. And if you remember, this is a pattern that you get from factory. Now, if you want to, this is actually playing back while the other sample on the channel number 1 is also playing back. And right here at the bottom, it tells you it's the A2. Maybe the camera's just not picking it up, but you can't see it right there. Now, if you want to change the views from the main mixer and the pattern playback, press the pattern edit. And right here, we can even blend in whatever you have on channel number 1 or channel number 2 with the pattern that it's playing back, playing back. And if you want to, stop it, maybe go to that view by doing pattern edit. You just can't, mute it or go down in volume. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you want to, of course, change the pattern, you just need to repeat the same process. Go to pattern select a different pattern. I'm gonna go to the A1. I'm gonna do pattern select again, and if I want to play it back, it's gonna be that one. Pattern edit to toggle between the screens. I'm gonna be playing back my main one. Now, again, this is a nice feature to have, I guess. Okay, so the last thing is going to be that you can set markers while playing back, and you can also set the start and the end of the sample. And all of this are functions that we get on the sample edit. Again, I already made a video about this. Check my channel or check the links at the description. And you can do this on the track that is playing back, right? The one that's going out, or you can even do it when you're queuing the other track, right? So you can do this. I'm going to be playing the channel number 1 track. You already know it. Now, what you can do, you can go to push enter and you can see the channel select. We already know this. But then you have the edit. So when you go to edit, you can edit the start and the end. And to exit, of course, you push exit. Now, in this case, the 1 is going out and I'm trying to edit the number 1. So when you try to modify the start and the end, it's just going to glitch. So maybe this is not a good idea to do it live. This is something that you need to have ready way before you do it, you use it live, right? Now, right here, again, you set the start and the end, the most common options that we get. If you want to loop, you can enable the loop and just adjust the loop right here. And just like before, you can do roll and audition the last part. But all these are just options that, we usually get on the sample edit. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning and I'm going to disable the loop for now. Now, what if you had markers? You should have this ready, maybe not do it live, but you can do it, while you're maybe working on the Q mix, right? So I'm going to go back to the main mix view. I'm going to do shift and I'm going to do start and end. And notice that now it's taking us to the markers screen. And notice that the one is blinking. And I'm going to start the sample, just play it back. And you can see the playback right here. The number 1 is going to be the main sample, which is, if you think about marker 0. So while all of this is just going, playing back, what you can do, and this is actually the main point of doing all of this, while this is playing back, you just can press the mark, and it will add a mark right here. And also notice that this one is purple. So as soon as you add markers, it will just add it to the list. So you can just, maybe tap it and go to the different markers. That's, again, the whole point. Now I'm going to add one more marker. Maybe there. Now once you're done and you have all your markers, what you need to do is you just need to go back to the main view. And I'm going to do exit. You already have your markers. Now then you have markers. If you're playing back and you want to access to those markers, you just need to do shift. And when you do shift and hold it, notice that you get them right here. It's going to be all your different markers. Now this is what I'm saying. This is something you need to have it ready, already set it up on the actual sample. When you import it, you do everything. So this should be ready. Now do it live. But if you want to do it live, completely up to you. Alright, so that's pretty much it. If you liked all of this, please like and subscribe. This channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to buy me a coffee, just to say thanks and help the channel keep, making videos, you can. You have links in the description for PayPal, YouTube thanks, and Patreon.